welcome to Reviewia Talks. Today, we are going to talk about something which is becoming increasingly relevant for working professionals since the onset of COVID 19. Now, while COVID 19 brought in a lot of challenges, it also accelerated some changes at an organizational level. It broke through a lot of mind blocks, a lot of barriers, and one such barrier which got broken was around working from home. A lot of tasks which earlier organizations were a little unsure of in terms of whether they can happen from a remote location, can they be done outside the office premises. Almost 90-95% of such tasks were successfully done outside of office premises. So now that mental barrier has broken, and with that, there are a lot of advantages which have come through for uh, employees. Work from home now is not an exception; it is an option. It is a norm. And in certain cases, organizations are encouraging it very heavily because it also makes business sense as they are able to release some of the costs that they earlier used to incur in terms of maintaining physical office premises and real estate. From the employee standpoint, I think it is great in terms of providing flexibility. You have the option of avoiding your commute to office and collaborating through tools like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, etc. However, there are certain disadvantages or challenges that have come through as well. And one such challenge is that a lot of working professionals are complaining about their inability to switch off from work. Sometimes it is just their own mental barrier, and sometimes it is the expectations of their colleagues, their superiors, their reporting managers. Where the assumption is, okay, since you are at home, you know, there is no real off time required. Even on off days, or even on hours which are post conventional working hours, the expectation is for the employee to deliver on certain tasks. And also from the employee standpoint, there's this shift where because you know that you are at home, you tend to kind of take extended breaks, extend your work hours, and at the end of the day end up working very late, and that obviously eats up on your time for other personal work. So in this episode, I'm just going to talk about a few suggestions that you guys can take as working professionals and see if it makes your life a little easier, especially if you're someone who's working from home 90 to 100% of the times. So what can you do? The first thing that you can do is create a routine. Once we used to go to work, there was an inherent routine that we had to reach office at this X time. Now, a lot of people are kind of enjoying flexibility, and in that process have given up that routine. So I think this is where one needs to drive discipline and rigor on their own. So I would very strongly recommend that you create and follow a routine which is very closely mapped to what you would otherwise do if you had to go to work. Okay, that's one. Second, to ensure that this routine really works, if you are implementing it, that's great, but you also need to sensitize your stakeholders that now you are following this routine, you're following this schedule. So you got to set the right kind of expectations with your stakeholders, with your reporting managers, customers as well, that hey, my work hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. and post that, I'm not available. Okay. And once you do that, it also has an additional advantage. Now that you have given that commitment or that information to your stakeholders that you are available till 6:30, there is added uh, rigor when it comes to you completing your tasks on time. So there will be a fair bit of rigor in terms of you ensuring that you don't slack, you don't take extended tea breaks, coffee breaks, TV breaks, and all of that. Okay, so it kind of drives a little more rigor and discipline in the whole office hours concept when you're working from home. The other thing is, for any routine to work well consistently, there needs to be sufficient planning. Now, you should plan for sufficient breaks, okay? And everybody's home situation is very different. Some people are single, some people are married, some people have young kids, older kids, parents, etc., etc. So, plan for breaks to take care of your personal responsibilities as well, right? And also plan for some unplanned breaks. Okay, there might be some unplanned stuff which might come up. If you have young kids, there is some immediate attention that might be required for them. If you're working from home, there might be an internet issue or a power outage or something to do with maybe you require some sudden plumbing assistance at home. These are the realities. These are the new kind of challenges that working professionals have to deal with once they are working from home. Okay, so you budget for that. It is very important that you plan for these unforeseen, unplanned events. Okay, only then it will be successful. Then my next point is that invest a little in having some infrastructure in terms of suitable ergonomics at home. So, the seating, the chairs, the desks, etc., that we are used to when we used to go to office, we don't have that at home. So it's a good idea to maybe invest a little and get a ergonomically friendly chair, get a desk which is of a suitable height, because in the long run, if you are going to work from home, you will need these things to ensure that health wise you're not compromising. In a lot of instances, organizations are recognizing this need. They are kind of doing it on their own, or they are providing reimbursement for employees who are investing in desks, chairs, internet, laptop, etc. Even if you're not getting reimbursements, I would say it is for your own benefit. It helps you ensure that you don't end up having a back problem, and it also helps ensure that you are able to concentrate and deliver because you're not distracted by uncomfortable seating. Okay, so do take care of ergonomics if you are someone who's now going to work from home for almost 90 to 100% of times. My last point is, once you have done all these things, it is very important to switch off from your emails or your office messengers, your WhatsApp, all of that. Okay, so one is setting expectations with the right kind of stakeholders, but that takes time. You might have instances where your boss is messaging you at 9 p.m. that he or she needs something by 10 p.m. Once you actually switch off and you don't get that communication, it helps you, because what happens is once you receive that communication and you are not uh, delivering on it, there is some level of anxiety that you go through anyways. You get upset with your boss, or you're thinking, okay, what justification would I give because he or she has seen that I've seen the WhatsApp message that was sent. So my recommendation is just put your WhatsApp groups on silent, and do not access them. Okay, do not access them post work hours. If there is something really really urgent which needs to be delivered, I'm sure the stakeholder would connect with you over the phone. Okay, mostly emails and WhatsApp messages are things which can wait, okay, which are not like super urgent. And especially if these are pieces of communication that you're getting post your work hours, they're obviously not very very urgent. So the idea is to ensure that you get some mental rest, because most of the time, see, we are anyways thinking of work. Even after we switch off our laptop at 6:30, 7 o'clock, most of us are in roles where we are doing thinking. We're thinking about that presentation that we need to make. We are thinking about that strategy document. We are thinking about the next level of analysis report. And these are these little hacks that we need to use to ensure that we give some rest to our brains. Okay, only we are when we are able to give sufficient rest to our emotional and mental self, we will be able to derive more efficiency for ourselves. Okay, so these are some of the suggestions or hacks that I had in mind that I wanted to share with you in this episode. Hope it would be useful for our viewers. Thank you so much for listening in, and I shall see you in our next episode. Bye bye.